This gives us our suite of steel weapons, 10 steel ingots, which are really important, and extra 3,000 gold, which is also really important. So thank you, Intelligent Systems, for deciding to rebalance the game in day one patch. We have gotten just one support conversation, just between Alfred and Etienne, which is pretty nice, actually. Etienne makes a pretty convenient partner for a lot of the things that Alfred wants to do in Chapter 5. Am I going to use the update bonus? Yes. Stuff? Yes, I will. I don't really see any reason not to. It's like they don't seem particularly egregiously unbalanced, and I enjoy the flexibility, and they're just part of the game now. If I had to guess, I would say they did more playtesting as we got closer to release and decided, we should give people extra weapons and a bit more cash. I don't know. Fighting Sami is indeed optimal. Yeah, we're going to run down to Sami's Shrine here in a second, but because I'm not doing some of those shortcuts for getting extra achievements, petting Sami is a really important source of bond fragments. Like I'm only getting the one 50-point drop when I come here, when I come by his shrine here. And even if there are more. And Sami gives me 200 every time I visit him. So that's like about equal in bond fragment income to what I'm getting from the maps.
What?
Just to clarify, Illusion Fox, I'm using the free update bonus items. I am not using the DLC ones.
Yes, I like that name.
Wouldn't having the dog cycle through metals be better representative than all steel? I mean, maybe, but that would require custom code, and I achieved what I did by taking iron and silver out of their drop pools, which is a lot easier. You do have to make sure not to give Sami food that he dislikes. Like, don't feed him nuts. But oranges, apples, peaches, those are all fine, and those are readily available from the orchard, so I just stick with those. Also, it turns out that your affection rating with Sami, at least according to Serenus Forest, affects how many spirit gems you get when you walk around the Somniel. So you get pretty pebbles that are worth 1 support point. Spirit gems are worth 2. And I forget what the breakpoints are, but it's like 30% and 60% affection or something. Those increase the number of spirit gems you get every time you come back to the Somniel. So it's actually kind of important to keep his affection up. And it drops by 5%. The bar drops by 5% if you ignore him. Also, dressing him up does increase affection as well. Is the wishing well going to be used? I might cover that. It's definitely changed what I've been thinking about for Chapter 6. But I'm not going to get to that on this stream. So we'll address that when we get to it. Let's put our dog and our sheep out to pasture. We do definitely want to do strength training. This is really crucial.
So,
luckily, I don't have to
what'll it be?
bore myself with any of this. I have to do
How hard do you want
exactly 1 push-up to win, thanks to Zone's mod.
Looking good.
Beautiful.
Great job! I'm so proud.
That's also a
Let's do
source
this
of bond
again
fragments,
sometime.
so yes, we do have to keep up with that for a while. Another big source of fragments, I think we've done everything we have to run around for. So we'll go back to the Cafe Terrace. Is donations. It is, I think, definitely worthwhile to raise Firenate to level 2 as soon as possible. One important effect of this is that it gives you enough iron ingots to evolve a weapon after Chapter 5, which is really nice, because it multiplies the number of fragments you get by 2. So you get, I think, 20 iron ingots base in the Chapter 5 location, and this raises it to 40, which is enough to get you where you need to be. But this also gives you, this is also, I think this is a thing where you could cheese this for more achievements by doing like 100 gold at a time. So you get like donate to Firenate 50 times or whatever. We're just going to do it all in one go. So raise it to level 2. We get donate to Firenate. This gives us 500 bond fragments and a whole bunch of food items. We could technically raise it to level 3. That is not worthwhile at this time. And I think in most runs it's not worth raising Firenate in particular to level 3. Okay. I'm just going to save right now just because I actually don't want to be too successful with this. I'm going to pull exactly 6 bond rings, and I really don't want them to be any good. So one of the mods I have actually takes away all of the stat bonuses from rings if they're below S rank. I'm just going to pull from Marth's pool, which is most convenient. We get Merrick C, and you saw that did absolutely nothing. No points. Katarina C, nothing. Linda A, nothing. Tiki A, nothing. Linda C, nothing. And Linda B, nothing. Everything from Linda except S. So with the mod I made, S rank rings still give all of their normal bonuses and skills. So if you want to rig for those, you can. But I'm just trying to represent like a bad set of ring pulls that don't give me any applicable stats. And in fact, I mostly don't want stat bonuses on a lot of my units anyway. And my bond fragments are so limited right now that I really don't want to pull more rings than I have to. So I'm just going to stick with exactly 6. That's actually 1 short of the number you need to cover everyone. You need 7. But Vander is not going to gain any SP from combat in our next mission anyway, because when he gets like 1 experience point, that still doesn't translate to any SP with the bond ring. So it doesn't matter what he has. I'll just run through the list and give everyone else, other than people who have emblem rings, some bond rings. So without my mod that makes these all give 0 bonuses, what I would be trying to do here is basically just give everyone the wrong rings, whichever don't give useful bonuses. This just makes things a little bit more convenient because I don't have to like juggle that and figure out how to assign those rings least optimally. So yeah, Illusion Fox, the only purpose of those bond rings is to give me SP. Right, and then, rather regrettably, because I'm eschewing all those extra sources of bond fragments that are relatively easy to get, like you should probably be getting achievements for avoiding attacks, for getting crits, or beating extra enemies because you have to rewind at some point, or deploying people because you retry a map. Those are easy to get. They don't take much time. You can get like a couple thousand more bond fragments, but I'm not doing any of that. So I do have to care about the extra progress I can get on my bond ranks from polishing rings. So, unfortunately, that's what we're doing next. The first person who's going to have to pay for bond rings with Marth is actually Chloe. So we're going to have her polish Marth's ring.
Make it nice and shiny. You take excellent care of
It does give us, that does give us an extra achievement, so great for that. Celica, I will have Alfred do. Interestingly.
I hope you'll clean it well. That bit's clean. Not quite. That looks so much better. Thank you.
And Sigurd, we will use Lear.
Handle that gently. Overdoing things a bit? I appreciate your upkeep of the ring.
That for favorite food? That's what I'm thinking. Eventually. Okay. That takes care of everything in the bond, in the ring chamber. We've done our donations, we did our training, we put the dog out. We need to visit the shops. Hello, Durchin.
Wow. So, about the armor.
And here we're going to buy just 2 weapons. We want a compact axe for Vander.
Here you go.
And an extra slim lance for... let's go with Alfred right now. We'll adjust inventories in a second.
Here you go. Take
And
care.
then we have to visit
I thank you.
Anise.
Now about the shop.
The only thing I believe we have to buy here is a defense tonic for Alfred.
I thank you.
So
Do come again.
purchasing from each shop gives us 2 more achievements. Those are each worth 10 bond fragments. So when we pick up our achievements now, we should get something like 420 points. Yep. Now we're up to 1330. Off to the next mission. Yeah, the patch does have some issues with running around in the Somniel. It does cause occasionally it's weird about causing a temporary slowdown. That also affects the music. Also, I think it is playing the world map at hyperspeed too. Anyhow, just to confirm, we do have donation level 2 here, so we are going to get double iron from this battle. All right. So here in Chapter 5, I'm going to adjust inventories first, then we'll discuss our Emblem Rings. Let's see. So Alir needs Liberation and a Steel Sword. Vander, Compact Axe, Iron Axe. Lan should re-equip his Fire Tome that he unequipped last mission. Ram takes the Iron Body Art, Heal, and let's use one of the more used vulneraries on her. She's actually going to heal herself in this battle. Alfred takes a Javelin, Slim Lance, and that's hit with a vulnerary, and he uses his defense tonic. Etier is the only person who can take the steel bow, so, which will help her out. Boucheron, hand axe. He's going to use the steel axe. So hand axe, steel axe, iron axe. Saline, fire, slim sword. I'm going to go ahead and give her the iron sword as well. These aren't really going to get used. There is a strategy I had worked out that relies on filling Saline's inventory, so I'm still kind of doing that out of habit. But it's not really necessary. I've worked out a different way that's more reliable. Louis just needs his iron lance and his javelin. And Chloe will take the slim lance she has, plus the steel lance that we got, and our spare iron lance. Okay. Yeah, people are talking about tonics in the chat. So obviously, on my first run, I didn't know, like I knew tonics were limited until you beat a certain chapter. I believe it's after chapter 8, you get unlimited tonics from the shop. And that's kind of scary because you don't really know when tonics are going to be useful. You're not that familiar with the stat thresholds or when people will get certain stats or anything like that. So I didn't buy any of them. But now that I have some experience and I've been able to try things out, I've been able to work out what tonics are most crucial and when. So in this case, we're giving Alfred a defense tonic so that he can take almost no damage from these sword fighters. They do double him, but they only have 15 attack. And if he has both Sigurd and a defense tonic, he has 13 defense. So he's just fine fighting them. So that's like the most important thing I can give right now. There are a couple other things where tonics can help in this battle. Like giving Clan a magic tonic can make things potentially slightly more consistent at one point in this map, but I don't think it's enough of a difference to really be worthwhile. I think in general, I'd prefer to preserve that for later. Although once we get access to meals, most tonics are not going to be that important either if you're able to rig high quality meals. Anyhow, how are we assigning our emblem rings? We're sticking with Marth on Alir. It's really, really important to have these strength and speed bonuses on someone. Alir uses Marth really, really well because she gets self-sustain with divine speed. And she's strong enough to beat armors with the rapier, which isn't that hard. And in a level or two, she'll be fast enough to double a lot of enemies. Not the sword fighters, but the archers, certainly. She's 1 point away from doing that. The axe fighter, she already doubles. It's really helpful. And Alir is also the one who has the highest bond rank with Mars, so she gets the biggest bonuses from using him right now. Again, we can't grind up bond ranks in the arena yet, so either it's bond level 7 with Marth on Alir, or it's bond level 1 on anyone else. Similarly with Sigurd, like Alfred's the only person who has momentum, and that's a big deal. We're not going to give that many kills to Alfred in this map, but still a fairly substantial number. Well, it's like 4, but 5, I think. 6 kills to, no, 7 kills to Alfred, now that I think about it. And just like what we saw at the very end of the last mission, it's nice to be able to use other weapons with Override besides Rider's Bane. Rider's Bane is like the second strongest you can use. It's only weaker than the Steel Lance, which Chloe is carrying. But the flexibility to deal less damage if you want with a Slim Lance, or to be able to equip a 1-2 ranged weapon afterwards is pretty nice. So for the time being, I think it's just correct to stick with whoever you had Sigurd on in the last map. I think Alfred was the best person to use Sigurd in the last map, so he's the best person to have him now. Also, having 13 movement with Sigurd Engage is still pretty awesome. And then some of the reasoning with Celica, you could put her on Clan, and they would be mostly equivalent, but Saline already has stat leads over Clan. She's a little bit faster, she's a little bit stronger, she has higher bond rank with Saline, so she already gets resonance. She can one-shot things with Warp Ragnarok that Clan cannot. Just makes sense to stick with this. So that's basically the reasoning now. After chapter 5, there's perhaps a little bit more thought that should go into it, because you can buy bond ranks for anyone else. But we'll talk about that when we finish this battle. I do need to rearrange my forces though. So in this case, we want Chloe in the top left, and Alir, Clan here. This is fine. We'll put Alfred in the bottom right corner. He can use his 13 movement to get where he needs to go. Fram here. Sorry, Fram here. Boucheron back here. Saline this spot. Okay, so we got Etier, Boucheron, Fram, Vander, Alfred. That looks correct. So the idea is we're going to have Alfred take care of this left-hand group with the 3 sword fighters. Oh, hello, lag. And the archer on the left, while the rest of the team supports Alir against all of these enemies, basically. So we're going to break through this armor and this archer with Saline and Alir right away, and then we'll maneuver so that Alir can take most of the remaining kills among these other enemies. All right, so let me just scan through the chat real quick. Lots of discussion about tonics, huh? Yeah, I think unless you're being super restrictive about other sources of income in this game, money isn't that tight. And you can definitely afford to just buy a few tonics to patch up like whatever you're not getting out of your meals. Or, you know, if you're settling for D rank meals and getting +1 to strength, max speed, and defense, but you need +2 on someone, just buy a tonic and make that easy for you. It mostly makes for a smoother experience than rigging the meals. Although I do think that's kind of worthwhile in chapter 7 in particular, but we'll get to that maybe out of this stream. Yeah, if you know what you're doing with tonics, you're not just like splashing 4 tonics in every unit. They're not a big deal as far as the expense goes. All right. I don't think there's anything else really relevant to discuss in the chat right now. So, electronic every chapter is optimal. Why rig meal for chapter 7? For very fun strats. Although, if you preserve that magic tonic that you could use on Clan here, and then you get a strength tonic from like Paralog 2, you don't really need that either. Anyway, we'll save here and we'll start the battle. Right, I'm going to start with the least reliable thing, which is
Gotcha.
killing off this closest sword fighter. Which involves Etier hitting with a steel bow, and then Alfred landing a javelin.
This is what I trained for.
And then Alfred's just going to wait here on the pillars. The main reason for that defense tonic is to make him survive this enemy phase with these two sword fighters and this archer, even if every single attack hits, if they all hit him without a defense tonic, they would kill him exactly with 3 regular attacks and 2 chain attacks. They would deal exactly 28 damage. But with his tonic, he survives easily. He could just chance it without the tonic, relying on avoid on the pillars, which he has like, they still have like 75 to 80 hit on him, so it's not great, but he'd probably make it through. However, the defense tonic makes him more survivable later in the mission too. So it's just really nice all around.
Understood.
And move everyone else to get ready for this next
Whatever you say.
As your steward.
turn. Clan's going to chip down the armor, and we have Vander here to support him in that.
Here goes.
So that now, when Alir engages with Marth
Emblem Engage.
and equips the rapier, she does exactly enough damage to kill. 14.
Dream well.
This map is pretty big for how little movement you have DIR, but hey, that's what what's it called? Gallop and Warp Ragnarok are for.
Yes.
Saline can't kill this archer by herself, but
I'm
if she gets an assist from Chloe, then she can.
All flowers eventually wilt.
The castle's under siege. Mighty fine time to nab some
I did use the Slim Lance this time, Listia.
See?
My original
Here now?
idea for using the Iron Lance there was I wanted to have fewer chances to crit, but the Slim Lance having higher accuracy matters on this enemy phase as well, so it's overall better. Hey, we got the avoid an attack achievement anyway because we dodged a chain attack. Awesome. Male or female Lear only considering Louis? Male, so we don't activate his skill as much. Okay, so Chloe will always have been attacked by these two sword fighters. This one could attack her from the north or from the east. What we want to do at this point is build a kind of wall to make sure that this right-hand sword fighter attacks Alir on enemy phase and dies to her. So we want to have our bulkiest units cutting him off from everyone else. That includes Louis and also Alfred. And then with Alir in between them. So Alir's going to move to this spot, which you can always reach no matter which side the enemy is on, and kill him with Lodestar Rush.
Fate has brought us here. I had to stop them.
Hey, bond level 8 with Marth. Next, we want to weaken this sword fighter, who's going to be killed by Alfred, and also this sword fighter, so that Alir can kill him on enemy phase. Let Vander go here, supporting Clan again, so Clan can chip this guy down.
I won't
Chloe doesn't have much to do right now, but she can go ahead and weaken this door quite a bit with the Steel Lance. So it's important to know that the enemies on the other side will not attack you ever until you open one of the pathways into the room. So Chloe is perfectly safe here, even though it looks like this mage could go kill her. We're going to have Louis form the right side of our wall around Alir. To improve his hit rates on this enemy, we're going to have him take Chloe's Slim Lance. She doesn't really need it right now. And attack from there. No knowledge gem to attack the door with. Yeah, that is very sad. Right. So now Chloe's opened up this spot where Alfred can ride over and defeat this sword fighter with his own Slim Lance.
You were a good fight.
Strength and speed. Hooray. And then Alfred's just going to wait right here. So he's the left-hand side of our little wall around Alir. And if everyone stays northwest of this area, this soldier will be forced to attack Alir as the least bulky opponent. So we'll have... This gives us a chance to have Fram heal Alfred. Get him back close to... Not quite full, but much healthier. Boucheron may as well chip this. What a barbarian or an axe fighter? I forget. Fighter. May as well chip this guy. This is another case where he can't mess things up even if he crits. So this is fine. Just free experience, free progress on achievements. Just go for it. Now, Saline can engage with Celica and use Echo twice to weaken and then defeat the bottommost axe fighter. We're not going to kill both, which would have been possible with some slightly different maneuvering with Bander and Boucheron together to chip down both enemies. But we really only want her to beat one. We're going to save the other opponent for Alir.
Need some help?
Opinions on the S-rank weapons at the end of the game? I mean, some of them seem alright, but none of them seem that impressive. Georgios is kind of cool for being a really strong sword to use with engage attacks. The 1-2 range lance, whose name escapes me at the moment, was like okay, but not significantly better than Spear. Nova has a unique brave property, but it's not actually that good. I mean, maybe it's like really strong with the right engraving, and you know, you could probably find uses for it, but I didn't find that many. The others are mostly mediocre. So lastly, we have Etier. Etier is going to run north and park here, so she's out of range of the sword fighters. This axe fighter can attack her, but she survives with 1 HP, and this forces him to stay right where he is, which is really convenient. Andre, I've heard good things about Pizza Tower, but I'm not going to do that on this stream. Maybe I'll try it out offline at some point, and if it's really awesome, it's possible. Nathan, you find Dragon's Fist to be sufficient for most kill strats on the Sombron? Yeah. Yeah, it works fine. Anyhow, we're gonna heal up Alir again. Go back to full there. Then Chloe can move to that spot where Fram just was, and thanks to Saline's personal skill, her vulnerary now restores all of her missing HP. I do want Alir to get some support points with people like Louis and Chloe and Boucheron. So we're going to have Celine get out of here. She's going to warp Ragnarok, and from this position she has exactly enough movement to launch herself 2 spaces past the archer and kill from this side with Ragnarok.
Grant me strength. All flowers
Good night,
eventually
Wikipedia.
wilt.
So we got to max spawn with Celica pretty quickly.
It looks like we can break.
Anyhow, so Celine's going to do her own thing with most of these enemies, while we take care of the rest down here. Since she vacated that spot, now Alir can go there and kill off this axe fighter herself with a rapier.
Let me help.
Dream well.
An achievement. Now, funnily enough, it's sort of counterproductive for Alir to get too many kills right now. We don't want her to reach level 6 yet. So it is possible to set up a bunch of kills for her. Like 2 more kills against both these sword fighters on this upcoming enemy phase. But we would rather give those kills to Alfred now and let Alir catch up with other kill opportunities in a moment. So, I'm going to, let's see, have Clan move away and heal himself. Put Boucheron over here.
What's our move?
And then Alfred, with his 13 movements, can still ride all the way around, get onto these pillars, and override from the back. And with the Rider's Bane, he kills every single enemy.
One strike will decide it all. Here goes!
Yeah, Andre, if you want to suggest games, like the chat on the stream is not really the place to do it. You could comment on some of my videos, and I would see those. But yeah, I'm familiar with what you're talking about, but it's just not what I'm focusing on here. So please refrain from doing that. Chat. Okay. So now we can move Etier over here just to hang out for a sec and rearrange with Vander as well. All right, let's start with Celine. We're going to have her, again, use Echo twice to weaken and then kill an enemy. That gets her more SP than just killing them normally. And by doing it from this position, she's pretty close to that armor to the south. As far as I can tell, the sword fighter from that left side corridor always goes south. I've never been able to pull him north for any reason. But by sticking close to the armor, we can convince him to run north towards Saline instead of going east towards the rest of our team, which is convenient because it just cleans up a lot of what we want to do later. Was that override max movement? It was. From here all the way around, given that there were 3 enemies in these spots, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, so I think I actually want to make an adjustment. Something occurred to me while I was thinking about this map a little while ago. Let's see, Alir by herself has 113 hit. This Axe Fighter has 12 avo. So even completely unsupported, she always hit with the Liberation. Which means she doesn't really need clan nearby to help her. At C rank,
I am ready to
I
serve.
believe clan gives a crit bonus. Yeah, so like Vander has 8 crit now when he's adjacent to clan, but 5 when he's not. So I don't want Alir to crit, which means ideally on this enemy phase, we don't have clan next to Alir. We don't want his bonuses. So what I'm going to do is have Louis break down this wall with his javelin. Put Chloe below Louis. Boucheron below Chloe. This is perfectly fine. We'll stick Etier this position. And then because she supports Alfred, she gives him a hit bonus of 10 points. So when Etier waits here, and then Alfred equips his javelin and waits right above her, he'll have 120 hit, which makes him perfectly accurate against this mage. That's pretty nice. And with his personal skill, he'll get an extra damage bonus as well when he waits. So for the rest of the squad, we do want Clan to be here on our next turn so that he can weaken the lance armor. Now I'm wondering, because in my experience, this armor has always gone due south, but that might change if I don't have someone like in this spot. So maybe I should have stuck Boucheron there instead. We'll just let it ride for now. I don't want Clan to be adjacent to Alir. I do want Alir to be fighting the Axe Fighter in enemy phase, and I don't want her to crit. So we'll just stick here. We don't want Vander next to Alir for the same reason, and Ram would help her avoid, but we don't really care to do that. So we'll just stick with this, and we'll wait here. Okay, the armor did go due south still. I'm not sure if that's consistent, though. Probably to do this more consistently, I would just have Boucheron wait here temporarily. I mentioned that a magic tonic can help Clan out, make things more consistent. That's because even with Alir's bonus, Clan by himself only deals 13 damage to this armor. And then Alir only hits for 2 on the first hit with a steel sword. That's not even close to killing. However, with 2 chain attacks from Boucheron, they will kill. That said, if you just have Boucheron weaken with the steel axe first, that's also helpful. The downside to this is that it has a reasonable crit rate, and if Boucheron crits, does 12 damage, then you can't ship with Clan anymore because he'll take the kill. So you kind of just got to play with it and see, like, if something goes wrong in this sequence, just, you know, time crystal it and do something different. But I think overall it is, actually I'm not even sure. I think it's slightly more consistent to attack with the steel axe first, accepting the crit rate, hoping you don't get it, and then not having to rely on the chain attacks afterward. I think that's correct. Anyhow, so we'll do that for now. We'll attack with a steel axe. I know this will hit and it won't crit, but just thinking in more general terms. That deals 4 damage. Now Clan can move over here and attack and almost, but not quite, kill. Unless he crits.
I'll take this.
Which leaves us with Alir coming over here and dealing at least 2 damage with her steel sword for the kill. Now, Another issue with this setup is that Boucheron can take the kill first with his chain attack, and thereby prevent Alir from getting any progress on her engage meter with Marth. However, we can rectify that. It just makes us, run more crit chances later. That could be negative. Anyhow, go for the steel sword kill.
Need some help?
Thanks for the assist.
So, as you just saw, no engage meter gains because Boucheron stole the kill. However, Alir with the steel sword has 21 attack, which is exactly enough to finish off this axe fighter with 7 defense and 14 HP. And the steel sword minimizes her avoid relative to her other options, which is important because we're going to try to surround this axe fighter with other units who are bulkier than Alir. However, the enemy targeting is decided based on a combination of their listed damage and their hit rate. It's the expected damage. Basically, it's their damage, listed damage, times their hit rate, times 2 if they double. And that's how they decide who to target if they don't see a kill. So we can put Louis on one side and Vander on another, and he deals less damage to both of them than he does to Alir. But yeah, Vander does not get Avo from Clan, sadly. If Vander had a heavier weapon equipped that gave him less Avo, or if Alir had a lighter weapon that gave her more avoid, that can change the targeting priorities. And that's actually why we don't want Alir to level up to 7 yet, because then she gains speed. She gets more avoid, and this axe fighter sees 17 damage against Alir right now at like, well, it's going to be, I'll just go ahead and move in Fram. We do need to move in Fram here and heal Alir after the fact, so we get an avoid bonus from her as well. I'll just go ahead and do that so we can see the listed bonus. 29 avoid with the steel sword. If she were to gain speed, she would have 33. Or, sorry, 31. And I think she might get luck or something, or even defense on the next level as well. So, long story short, we reduced the expected average damage from this axe fighter enough so that he prefers to target Vander over Alir. So that's why leveling up to 7 before now is not that helpful. It makes it harder to deal with this axe fighter. But as it stands, we are able to trap him. We can put Louis below, specifically with something other than his javelin. We don't want him to get doubled. Yeah, Louis on the south side, Vander above with his compact axe. And with these exact stats, the highest expected damage is on Alir. This axe fighter will target her. She will kill on the counterattack. Over on the right here, because we have Fram and Boucheron in these positions, they activate Fairy Tail Folk for Chloe, so she always kills with her Iron Lance from here. And there's no harm in getting another chain attack in, so let's go ahead and do that as well.
Let me help.
Simple enough.
Okay, another achievement. And then lastly, I guess we still have to deal with Saline as well. But lastly, in this section,
Is it my turn?
Alfred can kill off the mage.
This is what I trained for.
And then canter to the southeast. So when Etienne moves southeast as well, she's out of range of the sword fighter, and Alfred is still in range. She can make him more accurate by switching into a slim lance, and then waiting right there. Now, Alfred does easily survive the sword fighter because he's got the defense tonic that kept him at much higher HP and makes him take only 2 damage per hit from him. Saline Salin's objective in the immediate future is to run to this corner and go pick up the Emblem Energy here to recharge Celica. So she's going to do that as fast as possible. That also cuts off the Thief, making him run northeast instead of northwest. But yeah, there we go. At this level, we get speed and defense and luck, which together make the enemy less likely to target Alear. Alfred's pretty low on HP, but still healthy enough, actually, to survive Lance Cav. 18 attack here. He's got 13 defense, so he survives with 1 HP left. That means he can go ahead and attack this sword fighter again. And then move northeast in position to intercept this Cavalier on this next enemy phase. So kind of similar to how we had Louis and Alfred spreading across this area to funnel this last sword fighter on turn 2 into Alear. We're trying to control these enemies. We want to chip both Cavaliers and then set them up in such a way that we can kill them both with Alear pretty soon. And also, by moving away from this Lance Sword Fighter, after having weakened him, we could give this kill to Alear too. Problem is, we need 2 pips in our engage meter to get Marth back. We only get 1 if we kill with a Steel Sword, but the special effect of Liberation is that we get an extra point in our engage meter when we attack and defeat a foe with it on our turn. So, if we can get the kill with our personal weapon, which is weaker, then we can recharge Marth anyway, even though Boucheron stole our kill. To do that, first Etier takes 1 step to the right, and Clan weakens the sword fighter. That also happens to give us a hit bonus thanks to their support rank, so that we have perfect hit now. Hey Shui Chi-Chi, thanks for the kind words. I appreciate that. The H, yes, we are going to go for a 1000 SP on Alear here. Although the way this turns out is it's because our bond fragment economy is so tight, it's not that important to get all the way to that 1k SP threshold. Yeah, because we won't be able to buy Cantor anyway. Not after this mission. Where was I? Oh yeah, so we got the kill with Alear. Just gonna have Louis go right 1 space. He's too bulky. Well, he's not. I guess he's not too bulky, but he can be too bulky to fight this Cav on enemy phase. But also, he specifically needs to be able to maneuver around this Cavalier and get to this spot where Chloe is. And if we put Louis on the south end of this Cav's range, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If we park Louis here, he won't be able to get all the way around with his 4 movement. So instead of baiting that Cav with Louis, we're going to bait him with Chloe instead. And just to make her more accurate, she's going to take back the Slim Lance and equip that. Fram. Since Alfred survives, she does not need to heal Alfred. She can instead heal Alear. We can put Vander below Louis. Yeah. And Boucheron south of Chloe for the moment. Okay. And then in the northwest, we'll just have Saline go recharge Celica. Chloe can just back off for a
Got to
second.
hang on.
And now to help Alear kill both Cavaliers, she can kill one on player phase using the Rapier, now that we've got Marth back. But for the other one, she needs some help for the Chain Guard. So we'll put Fram in position to do that first. Chain Guard from here.
All right.
Engage Marth.
Lend me your strength.
And Lodestar Rush with Rapier here.
My prayers are with you.
We decided if the Alfred Squad is worth using or not. I think the topic of like how to train people and which people get experience is going to be a bit more germane between this battle and the next one. Because right now we're still sort of constrained about like who's even good with any of the emblems. So, like, you pretty obviously want to get most of the experience on the people who have emblems, and those are the same people who had those emblems in the last map. But starting in Chapter 6, we can throw people in the arena, we can basically get whatever bond ranks we need. That makes for slightly more interesting discussion about like when and whether and how you should train other people besides whoever got the emblems early on. Alfred, now he has to heal himself. He can't survive forever. This is yet another case where we can freely attack because the worst case is a crit, and a crit does not ruin this. Louis needs to block this archer now. Just as with his Iron Lance equipped is fine. So he couldn't do that from here because he would have been obstructing the spot that Alear had to go to. But this prevents the archer from attacking Alear. Which could break our chain guard before we get to use it. We want to preserve that chain guard until the Lance Cavalier attacks. So, like, this protects Fram from getting shot by the archer, and that way the Cavalier will run down here, charge into Alear, get chain guarded by Fram, and Alear will be able to kill him and counterattack with the Rapier. Otherwise, we're just going to have these three chill out here. And Saline now gets to engage Selec again.
Please
And use
grant me your
Echo
strength.
with Seraphim one more time. Take out the armor.
All flowers eventually.
Am I going to
bloom.
make any video guides for this game? If all goes well with the recording of this, I will probably cut this into segments for like individual map clears. I don't know to what extent I want to cover other kinds of guide content. Like there were some things I maybe wanted to talk about, like metagame wise, that got upended by the 1.3.0 update. I think there's room, even though Original Raisins did a really good job about explaining why mentorship is not good. I think there's room for some more work on that, because I still see an awful lot of people watch that entire video, like take the point and then think, well, okay, it's bad if I'm ahead on levels, but it's still really helpful if I'm like really low on levels, so I should buy it on all my under-leveled units before I train them, and I want to dispel that too. But otherwise, I don't really have a lot of specific plans, so we'll see. Right, first we're going to take out this archer with Alear. Wedges. So the Combat Flags mod is where I've given every single playable unit 4 hidden skills that make them always hit their attacks, never avoid enemy attacks, never crit when they attack, and never take crits from enemies. So it's really just for demonstration purposes to show like cut down on time I spend rewinding or like rigging hits, and show off that like even in the worst case where I don't manage to avoid any enemy attacks, I'm still able to survive. Like I've accounted for all the survival thresholds. Enhanced cooking is not really relevant to the stream, but it makes it easy to rig S-rank meals if I want to. Yeah, the age, that's the long and short of it. Like, no matter what level you are, the difference between having mentorship and not having mentorship is basically 100 XP. And that's it. Right. So, we will put Clan and Fram in position to support a leader against this right-hand archer. And Fram does have to heal herself at some point so she can get Chain Guard back. Might as well do it now.
I had to stop you.
The real discussion becomes who actually gets something from that extra level. Well, the thing is, like, an extra level is basically worth, like, being a higher level in and of itself doesn't do anything. It's the growth you can get from that, right? And like, that's worth basically half a point in every stat, which is like, it's not a horrible skill effect. If I could buy a skill that was like, mentorship costs 250 SP and it basically gives you all stats plus 0.5, roughly. If I could buy a version of that was like 4 times more potent, like if I could buy all stats plus 2 for 1000 SP, that might be worthwhile. But spending a skill slot to get all stats plus 0.5 is just way less impactful than other things like speed plus 3. So it's like, it's a combination of not giving you a very good reward and occupying a skill slot that can give you other better things. All stats plus 2 was a DLC skill in Awakening. Right. So we do need to, well, we don't technically need to chip this archer, but it's, you know, it's more SP from Alfred if we can manage it. So we'll have him go here to block the left side of the archer and attempt to chip with the Slim Lance. And then wait there. So we're just trying to trap this archer again so we can save the kill for Alir one more time. Oh, yeah. I'll put Vander above Alir and Louis trap him from above. That makes a little bit more room for Etier and Boucheron to maneuver, but it doesn't really matter. Then over in this corner, now that this thief has gotten one of the treasures, we might as well just work Ragnarok and finish him off.
My apologies. I strike true.
I will not forget your loss.
And yeah, Septi makes a good point as well. It's mentorship is like all stats plus 0.5 with a significant time lag. It's like no extra stats for a little while after you buy it, and then it progressively gets a little bit bigger until eventually, once you're ahead of the curve, you're at like 100-ish or maybe a little less XP ahead. It takes a while to get the benefits, so it's just like worse than having even speed plus 2 for most of that time, just numerically. Even if all stats were equal, which they're not. Right. So we finished off that thief. We do need to open the other treasure chest and get our second treasure, which is the Armor Slayer. And we'll finish off this last archer while earning some extra support points with various people. So, and you're up top. Chloe already has the slim lance, so she's good here.
I'll manage.
And we'll put Alir in between them to finish off the enemy.
Dream well.
Now we can move Boucheron and Clan and Etier north a bit. We're going to get ready for the last main groups of enemies. Nalucci is linked with these two Cavaliers, but not with the other 4 enemies in front of him. So we can pull these first, but then we want to finish them off pretty swiftly and engage in Nalucci's group right after that, so that we can use Marth against basically both squads at the same time without running out.
Here goes.
First, we have to recharge Marth. We're going to put Clan farther west, where he'll be involved in pulling this Axe Fighter. Chloe, just chill here for a second. Ram heals her. Etier go due north. Boucheron this way, Vander farther on the east side. So the point of this is we're going to pull these sword fighters downward along with this axe fighter. Vander kind of needs to be able to run past them and get away from them after they come down south. Vander needs to get away from them while still being close to Nalucci's group for later. So that's why Vander's going over to the right side here. We'll have Louis step up 1 space. And Alfred could just wait here for a sec. So lastly, Thaleen, since we activated in Celica 3 turns ago, that just ran out. Now we get her back. And at this point, we're ready to take on the last 2 waves. Alir should move up right above Etier. Now, this is in range of both sword fighters. But to make this consistent, like ideally we would just have them both attack Alir from like the right side and the north side. And Louis can block Alir's left side to make them only attack from the right or from above. But the enemy turn order is apparently random. And if the right-hand sword fighter goes first and decides to attack from above, and Louis is stationed right here, then if Louis is right here, if this sword fighter goes first and decides to attack from above, then that body blocks this one. So I have no way to control which one goes first. So instead, I'm just accepting that I'll only be able to fight one of them with a Lear on enemy phase, and instead,
Let's be careful.
we'll have the other one fought by Chloe. So Chloe with a Slim Lance equipped only has 13 listed physical attack, but with Divine Inspiration giving her +3, and her own personal skill giving her +2, which it always triggers in this configuration no matter which gender Alir is, because if you've got female Alir, then it's because of Louis and Alir, and if you've got male Alir, it's because of Etier and Alir. Either way, that fills the condition for Fairy Tail Folk. That's another 2. We get 13 +3 +2, which is 18 physical attack. That deals 10 damage, dropping the enemy to 17 HP. Alir, with the Rapier equipped once we activate Marth, will have 20 attack against 18 defense, so that's 12. Remember, this guy was down to 17 HP, so that's still not enough. But when we have Marth engaged, we also get the follow-up attack from Divine Speed at 50% damage. So we do 10 damage off of Chloe, then 12 with the first hit from Alir, then 6 with the Divine Speed attack for 18. That's enough. So, works out very nicely. Alfred's just going to stay right here. Fram needs to move north of him to heal him so that she can be in the right position for our next turn. We do want to pull this Axe Fighter, and we specifically want to do it in such a way that he attacks from here instead of using his full forward movement. So we're going to put Clan a little bit inside of his max attack range. And just like with the, in Chapter 3, no, Chapter 4, when we were concerned about Clan possibly critting on the counterattack, we don't want that to happen, so he's just going to remove his weapon and wait. Etienne should stay here. Vander, stay here. Boucheron, you can come west a bit. And Saline, you do need to heal yourself, so let's go and do that now. Okay, so as planned, we've got the Sword Fighter right above Lear, the other one right above Chloe, and then this Axe Fighter on the correct spot. The point of this is we want Lear to be killing this Axe Fighter in a position that's in range of this Cavalier with the Rapier. So if she kills with the Rapier here, and we chain guard for her, then we can kill the Lance Fighter and both Sword Fighters on enemy phase. That's 4 kills in one turn. Just fantastic for this point in the game. We're going to move Louis one space to the northwest to support Alir first.
Here until the end.
Alir engages Marth
Emblem Engage.
and attacks with the Rapier, which will always kill.
I had to stop you.
And because we've got Louis blocking below, we can put Fram safely on Alir's left side and chain guard again. And just moves up to be beside Louis. Boucheron can wait south of Clan. I don't believe he needs to heal himself. I'll have to make an adjustment for that, but I don't think so. Alfred,
For you,
let's go
anything.
this spot, and Etienne can get away from the enemies by running due west. Since Chloe has 5 movement, she's able to escape from the Sword Fighters just by running directly, or flying, as the case may be, directly south, away from them. And Vander can escape the Sword Fighters, who would try to target him because they can break him by going all the way up here. He could also run away to the southeast or the south, but we want him to stick pretty close so we can help out on our next turn. So he's going here instead. The Martial Monk can't damage him with 10 attack against his 10 defense, so that's not a threat.
My will
Saline's
is
just
firm.
waiting for her time to jump in. Awesome. Okay, so at this time, we can just have Fram. Let's see. Yeah, Alfred takes 13 from Nalucci. We don't really need Fram to heal anyone, as far as I can tell. Yeah, I don't think we have to. So she can just wait here. She doesn't have to do anything. Also, Alir is healthy enough.
All right.
She doesn't die in one hit either. We're going to try to surround Nalucci as we kill off all the other enemies around him. And then we'll preserve Nalucci for one more turn and finish him off on the next turn. So Alir just needs to move so that she's adjacent to both the Cavalier and Nalucci. They can be in different configurations depending on where Nalucci decides to move first. But she's adjacent to both of them. And then she just uses Lodestar Rush with the Rapier to finish off Cav.
Fate has brought us here. Doing well.
We do have to deal with this Martial Monk. One person who can chip him is Vander. We're going to use clan support just to help build their support rank. It's not that important, really. We're not too concerned about Vander's combat potential or his, ability to team up with clan. But we may as well do this while we're here. So from this spot, Vander should always be able to attack this Martial Monk and weaken him. This does risk a crit, though, especially if you have clan nearby. But that weakens him enough for Alfred, after engaging Sigurd, to go kill the monk from above with the javelin.
You were a good fight.
Getting another level. Before waiting at Nalucci's right side. We're going to box in the boss from the south with Louis, who's just going to stand here. While Saline engages Celica
Emblem Engage!
and warps herself right above Nalucci.
Looky here, the runaway princess.
Grant me strength!
That all you got?
Alright, we'll just have Boucheron and Etier move a little bit closer, and Graham can stay where she is. Meanwhile, Chloe can return, flying north once again. How do I feel about Fire Emblem making Waluigi a minor chapter boss? I love it. He's great. Anyway, Nalucci always attacks Alfred here because you can break him, and he can't kill anyone else. Okay, now we can bring in Boucheron and get some chain attacks. We do want Saline to work on support rank with Alfred, so she's going to step one space to the right, but first we'll have Chloe go north. Just to get the Slim Lance back, we want to get it back on Louis. So she's going to fly up here. This also helps her build support with Saline, so Saline can take the Slim Lance from her. And off Vulnerary. And then can echo with Fire to, once again, weaken the boss the first time. She survives with 1 HP. Amazing how this works out. And then finish him off with the second attack with Echo.
Need some help? Let me help.
Shall I treat you to tea later?
Now we're level 8. And so is Alfred, for that matter. And Alir. That should be like it's 1 point past, yeah. Got 1 extra XP beyond the threshold. All right, so next order of business, we want Louis to chip Nalucci once. Flame Lance gives him more accuracy if he takes it from Saline. Oops.
Those shiny rings of yours are gonna be mine, mine, mine. Reward, here I come.
I'll take this.
Let's move Vander this way. And we want to do two things here. One is first ship Nalucci with Alir. We've already got the 1000 SP we want, so we're not that concerned with focusing all the experience into Alir now. She doesn't have Mercuria, so there's no extra benefit for killing with Marth. So instead we'll have her chip first and then finish off the boss with Alfred. While she does that, we may as well set up some extra support points again. So we've got let's surround on the south here and attack from this side with the rapier between Clan Fram and Boucheron. Get a pretty big hit, or series of hits.
I will show you no mercy. Prepare to die.
Let me help.
And then on the other side, we can put Vander and Etier and Boucheron all surrounding this left face, so that Alfred can ride around. He gets 4 extra damage from momentum with this. And with the Rider's Bane, he should kill. He's got 98% hit. He could also override to guarantee it. We hit all of our chain attacks already, so we're already at the kill threshold. There's no extra bonus for doing this, though, because we're already maxed out on Bond. So we're sort of better off attacking normally with the Rider's Bane, getting an extra chain attack in that can help us with our achievements, potentially. And I'm willing to risk the 98% hit, given that I still have all of my time crystals, and I know it's going to hit anyway. Okay. But in case Boucheron had missed any of his previous chain attacks, this would give him one more chance to land one of those as well.
Need some help?
I better.
And that does it for this chapter. And hey, there's our achievement for using chain attacks 20 times. Alright, so this was a little bit slower, obviously, than our previous chapters. It's a bigger map, and we put in a lot of work to set up kills for our 3 main units. But because of that, we've got Alfred and Saline and Alir all to level 8, which is a nice little boost from their starting levels, which will help them out in our next chapter as well. Yep, just finished chapter 5. So we're going to do a little bit more prep and some...
Alfred, Mother is in the back room. She's okay.
Maybe some deeper conversation about what we
that's
do
early.
at this point. And then we'll move on to chapter
Thank
6. This gives us 10,000 gold in military funds from Pyrenees. So now we have, I think, 20,000 in the bank, minus what we spent on our extra weapons and tonics. So it's like 18,850. Because we invested in Pyrenees already, we do get 100 bond fragments instead of 50 after this map, and 40 iron ingots instead of 20, and then better chances to get other materials here. I don't believe we get any extra steel yet. So aside from our dogs, our only source of steel so far is the 10 we got from the 1.1 update. So another 350 bond fragments from the convoys as well. See you, Model SS.
Hey there.
Bye, Nalucci. Oh yeah, and I forgot to check before, but just reviewing where we are, we've got 1013 SP on Alir, and we're at level 8.65. Bander's at 1.18 with no more SP over his base. Clan 1.83 with 310 SP. Ram 3.14 with 346. Alfred 8.22 with 594. Etier 4.69 with 302 SP. So she attacked one time in that last map. Boucheron attacked twice. He got to 304 SP. And 4.20. Saline just barely passed level 8. She's at 8.01 with 601 SP. Louis 6.21 with 304 SP. And then Chloe who's got a little bit more experience than most of the untrained scrubs. 6.57 with 318 SP. Wonder if you can give Marth gifts after Chapter 4 to raise bond. I don't believe so. Yeah, there's no gift option for emblems. If there were, that would be pretty wild.